Thank you guys. I'm getting a great response from all of you. And as you specified, I should create some more videos so that you should be clear how to clear any security exam. So I'm back. So as I specified, AWS Certified Security Specialty Exam is one of the great exam which if you will appear and clear, then you will have a great market value and your security skills would be great for your personal growth. As I specified, there are 170 minutes. The exam duration is 170 minutes. You have to make sure that you are attempt you are attempting all the 65 questions in 170 minutes. In 65 questions, as I specified, 50 are scored exam and 15 questions are unscored. AWS use those 15 questions for further analysis. The total cost of this examination is 300 USD dollars. Now I explained about the part 1 and part 2. Viewers who did not see part 1 and part 2, please check it because it is giving you enough glimpse for the different domains which AWS use for the questions. In part 3, I'm explaining the domain 3. So 3.4 troubleshoot network security. Now you have assume you have the cloud. Now you are getting a traffic. You have a website or within the website hosted in AWS cloud. You create a virtual network. Now you have to troubleshoot network security. So what is the knowledge required? So there are different AWS services which AWS recommend. A VPC analyzer, Spectre. VPC analyzer, reachability analyzer is a great service which you can use for analyzing your traffic. AWS Spectre for any kind of workload, you can use AWS Spectre. It keep on scanning your workload, prompt you for any kind of vulnerabilities. You should understand TCP networking concept. You should understand OSI model. You should understand how the application presentation session, transport, network, data link and physical layer work. You should understand what is UDP and TCP. What are the different utility, network utility. You should understand TCP dump. You should understand Wireshark. Other than these services, you should understand how to read different logs. So as I specified my earlier videos, with the flow log, the traffic is entering to your EC2 machine. It's coming through the VPC, that is virtual private cloud. You have public and private subnet, NACL and security codes. VPC flow log can capture your complete log. It can provide you the information. What is the source? What is the destination IP? How many packet has been transferred? What is the protocol used? You'd also understand if you applied the web application firewall, how you can read the web application firewall log. Let's assume your website is located accessed by different geography. From one of the geography, you are getting a multiple hits, and how you will analyze, how you will restrict those IPs, how you will restrict those multiple locations. You should understand all this concept. As I specified, it's a great examination to analyze your knowledge. I will understand sources, log sources to identify problems. You should also understand how you will use the traffic monitoring. There is another domain, identity and access management. So design, implement, and troubleshoot authentication for AWS resources. Authentication and authorization. Now these are the two how you are authenticating. So when you are entering to the website, how website is authenticating you. Second thing is your authorization. Once after authentication, how you are getting authorized. There are different services which AWS provide. We have federation, we have identity providers, IAM identity center, single sign-on, cognito. So for any kind of mobile communication, you have to integrate your website if it can access through the mobile. So how you will use cognito, how you use the identity center. If you're having the data center and if you're having the current active directory, how you will integrate the active directory with your AWS cloud? What are the different identity providers? You have ping, you have federations. How will you use the long-term and temporary credentials? How we use the access advisor, cloud trail, assuming some of your team is working with you in a project and he left 2 months back, still he is having the access key and he is trying to access your environment. How will make sure that you can track, what is a way to track his activity, whether you will use the cloud trail events or you will use the access advisor. You have to understand that. You need to go in that logic. Understand the concept, try to think, implement it. You will be able to clear the examination. You should also understand the multi-factor authentication. You should understand the security token service for creating the issuing the temporary credentials. You should understand what is more beneficial, providing the role or providing the long-term credential. Design, implement, troubleshoot authorization for AWS services. Manage policies, inline policies, identity-based policies, resource policies, session control. You should understand all these aspects. You should understand what is resource-based policy, how you will put the resource policies within the AWS services. For example, if you have to access the S3 service, now what is a way to put the S3 bucket policies? How will have the identity-based policies? How the user group or role will access the S3? Should also understand the principal action resource and conditions for writing the SCPs. What is a principle? What is a action? What is the resource and conditions for writing the resource policies? You should understand what is star means, what is role means, what is root means. This also you also understand access advisor policies, cloud trail. It will help you to troubleshoot authorization issues. You should also understand what is ABAC and RBAC, attribute based access control, and what is role based access controls. So when you are tagging to multiple resources, how you will control, or you can control through the users. What are the different IAM policy types for any workload? What is effect, allow and deny? What are the least privileges access? and what is the separation of duties. You should understand all this concept. The fifth domain is data protection. You say design and implement controls that provide confidential and integrated for data in transit. You should understand what is TLS concept, how it is different from SLS. What are the VPN concept? What is IPsec tunnel? What is direct connect? You should understand secure remote access method. If you are having the SSS RDP over system, how you will secure it? What is a value system manager session is adding? How the TLS certificate work? CloudFront, load balancer, how these tool works. You should also understand VPN gateway direct connect, how you are connecting to the primary on-premises network to AWS, RDS, Redshift, CloudFront, S3, DynamoDB. These are the couple of services which AWS asks question. For example, if you are having the database and if you are using the plain username and password, so how you will use the secret manager to encrypt this credentials and these credentials through automation directly through the code. System managers instance connect. You should understand what is private WIF and public WIF in terms of designing the cross-region network. Design and implement control that provide confidential integrated data at rest. I explained initially how the data and rest work. I am explaining again what is client side and server side encryption techniques. In S3, how you're using the S3 KMS, how you're using the S3 with customer management key, how you're using the S3 by client side. What are the different hashing algorithms? What is digital signature? How you will put the resource policy in DynamoDB S3 key management policies, roles and policies. So you will get questions from all of these areas. You will also understand in S3 for the data integrity what is object log, what is Glacier Vault object log, and what is backup vault logs. So you will get the questions from all of these areas. Design and implement control and manage the life cycle. This is another one of the greatest of AWS services. So how you can have the life cycle policies and how you can have the data retention, how you will retain the data. S3 lifecycle mechanisms. What are the different kind of S3 storage? Standard, Glacier, S3 1A. So you should understand different kind of S3 storage and how you will move the data from one storage to another storage with the help of lifecycle policies. What are the different volume snapshots? What is S3? What is CloudWatch log groups? What is data lifecycle management? How you will have the backup in place for the AWS services? You will get 2 or 3 questions from this part. Then the other important part is design and implement controls to protect credential secret and cryptographic material. Secret manager parameter store. These are the 2 services which you will certainly get a questions. Symmetric keys and asymmetric keys. Most important, how you will encrypt and decrypt through the symmetric key. How you will have the asymmetric keys. How you have the public and private key through the asymmetric. API keys, IAM access keys, KMS, database credentials, how we will have this. Key policies to limit key users to authorize users mechanism important, remove customer provided keys. Very important. Domain 6, management and security governance. You will get certainly number of questions from this area. So this is how you will use the multi-account strategies. So now after control tower, you can have different environments. You can have different account for development, different account for test staging, production. What are the different strategies you will use? How you will delegate? For example, if you have to send a logs one of the account. How you will delegate that account as a security account? What are different guardrails? What are the cross account rules? You should understand all those areas. You will certainly get number of questions. You should also understand what is AWS organizations, how it helps, what is the control tower, what are the different SCTs, how will you use the config aggregator, what is AWS config, how you will secure the root user credential. Then 6.2 is implement a secure and consistent deployment strategy. IAC, Terraform or CloudFormation. How will have the template hardening and how will drift detection? What are different ways, best ways for tagging? How will the centralized management, deployment, and versioning of AWS services? How will control the AWS infrastructure? You will certainly get questions out of these.